So you broke the rules at basic training. What's gonna happen to you? So what I want to talk about in this video is what happens to you if you're in the military, specifically in this case, basic training, and you break the rules. You do something bad that is against UCMJ, which I'll talk about in a little bit. What happens to you? So the first thing that I will say is honestly nothing could happen to you. It just literally depends on severity of what you're doing. So if you get into a fight, if you steal some things, if you sneak tobacco or drugs or anything to basic training, what's going to happen to you if you do something like that, right? So UCMJ, I mentioned that just a few seconds ago. The Uniform Code of Military Justice, that is what UCMJ stands for. This is basically the law, the rule book that is in addition to the civilian laws that we have to abide by. So anybody who's in the military, they not only have to abide by the civilian laws, so don't murder, don't kill, all the things, all the civilian laws, right? Not only do they have to abide by that, but you also have to, go by UCMJ, the military's Uniform Code of Military Justice, which literally just encompasses everything, right? So it's almost like its own constitution on how to discipline soldiers and what is right and what is wrong and stuff like that. And then what kind of punishment are you going to be subject to if you do this certain thing, right? So the crazy thing about this is if you are in the military, if you are found guilty under some civilian law, so like let's say you went and you tried to rob something, or you did some kind of misdemeanor and you get in trouble for that on the civilian side, well, you can also be punished under UCMJ. Now, I'm not going to talk about that too much more in this video because this video is talking about what happens if you break the rules at basic training. And by rules, I mean just the general rules that you are under when you're at basic training. So when you're at basic training, you're not allowed to use your phone, right? So if you try to sneak your phone out, so if you try to literally, go into the drill sergeant's office and try and get his phone, you steal it, and you are, keeping that away from him, and you are found out that you've had your phone and you stole it, this is something that you could honestly be subject to, that could fall under UCMJ, and you could get an Article 15. So what is an Article 15? Well, UCMJ, getting court-martialed, all these things in the military, they're all pretty serious, right? But one of the more minor things that can happen to you in the military is by getting Article 15 issued to you because you did something wrong. So you went and snuck your phone when you shouldn't have to, or you can literally get a Article 15 because you snuck food from the DFAC and brought it back to the barracks. I've heard of that happening. It could be all these different things, but like if you catch what I'm saying here, they're not really major things. Like you're not doing like any real crimes or any sort on the civilian side, but you're breaking the rules at basic training. Like you can't have your phone, you're not supposed to get into fights. So like if you get into a fight with somebody, like you could both be subject to getting an Article 15. And Article 15 is basically a non-judicial kind of agreement. Basically, instead of you going to court, and instead of you going through this whole big process of going to court and getting fined and going through this whole big thing, the military has this Article 15 set in place so that your company commander can issue an Article 15 to you, which is basically the same thing. They're going to take some of your pay away. They're going to make you do a little bit of extra duty where you're not going to get paid for that. They could take some of your rank away. So if you're, an E4 or below, they could reduce your rank to an E2 or an E3 or E1. They could reduce your rank, right? That is what could happen to you. The amount of money that they could take, if it is a company commander, there's different levels, and I will leave a link in the description of this video to a little bit more information on Article 15. But a company commander could, let's say, give you an Article 15. If you are an E4, he could reduce your rank to an E3 or a PFC. He will also, they'll take your pay for 7 days, 7 days of your pay, and then you're gonna have to do extra duty for about 2 weeks. And that extra duty, you're not gonna be getting paid for that. So basically, you're going to be getting 7 days of pay taken away, which is going to be around $300, $400 or so, depending on what rank you're at. Then you're going to work for 2 weeks for free, which is essentially taking away an extra $600 or $700 depending on what rank you're at, all because you broke one of these little simple rules at basic training that you shouldn't be doing. So when I was at basic training, I did witness this, I think 2 or 3 times. There was a couple Article 15s given out. One of them was a guy who somehow, it was like the last week of basic training, and I guess we had gone to the PX or somehow or another, he ended up getting a can of dip from the PX somehow. I don't know if he stole it or whatever, but he ended up getting an Article 15, and I think eventually he honestly got discharged from the Army, but he did get an Article 15. So you know, that little can of dip not only possibly was the reason that caused him to get kicked out of the Army, he also, like, it cost him $400 for the pay, and then he had to do extra duty. So keep that in mind. Like, don't be, when you're at basic training, don't try and sneak stuff. Don't try and think you can get away with certain things. So if you have your cell phone, don't be that guy who's like, oh, I have 2 cell phones, I can just give the drill sergeant my cell phone that I don't really use that much, and I'll keep the one that I actually will use. Don't do that, because you will eventually get caught if, like, somebody's gonna tell on you, right? So it's just kind of the way things work. Like, somebody, some way is gonna get it to the drill sergeant's gonna find out about it, and you are gonna get in trouble, and you could be like given an Article 15 for that. Don't be, you know, stealing and harboring things from the DFAC, you know, stealing a whole bunch of stuff, keeping it in your locker. Again, that could come back to bite you in the butt. Now, some of these things, it's literally up to the commander. With an Article 15, it is left up to the commander to decide whether or not to give you an Article 15 or not. So, you know, if you do, you know, sneak your cell phone or steal some food, or you get into a fight, because there was a fight at basic training for me and the person didn't get in trouble, right? So it's literally up to your commander whether or not they issue an Article 15, but I wouldn't take the chance, guys. I would not take the chance on losing a lot of money, losing some pay and stuff like that. So, because losing, you know, essentially $600 plus of money for just one little thing that you don't really have to do is a pain in the butt. Now, Article 15s can escalate, you know, if you have a officer who is a rank of major and higher, the Article 15 can be issued. It can be more of a drastic, you know, beat down on you of, you know, taking 2 weeks of your pay and doing an extra entire month of duty and stuff like that. So it can vary depending on who is going to give you the Article 15, but since you're at base training, it's only going to be your company commander more than likely. And then later on in your military career, because this not only applies to base training, but later on in your military career, you can also get these Article 15s, and when you get to a higher rank, the penalties, again, will be more severe. Once you hit the NCO rank of E5 or higher, when you get an Article 15, it's going to stay on your record. Whenever you get an Article 15, E4 and below, I believe it goes off of your record after 2 years, so it's really not going to affect you that much. But when you're an NCO, you are held to a higher standard, so you should really try not to get an Article 15, because again, it's going to stay on your record. It could keep you from getting promoted even higher if you want to stay in the military. So I would highly recommend that you guys just follow the rules, do what you're supposed to do. When you're at basic training, don't try to be slick, don't try to sneak around and bend the rules and do certain things that you shouldn't be doing, because you could end up with getting an Article 15 slapped down on your forehead and, you know, lose some money, work a couple extra weeks for free, and then you're gonna wish you had never done it in the first place. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. I hope maybe I like deterred one person from actually doing something that could give them an Article 15 in the military. That would be really cool. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to stick around for some more videos related to basic training, military, my experiences, whatever, hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, comment section is down below. You can also hit me up on Instagram or Snapchat, and I will see you guys later.